I welcome you all. Very good morning for the session of Brun Mumbai Municipal Corporation Online Education English Medium. Myself, Jayashree Hariom Jaiswal from Chincholi MTS. I am hereby to take Science 2 chapter from the class 9, and the chapter which we are taking is Useful and Harmful Microbes. As students, we have seen in our previous 3 lectures about the useful and harmful microbes. We have seen the term microbes mean the organisms which cannot be seen by a naked eyes. They are only seen by the with the help of the microscope, that are known as microorganisms or microbes. So they can be found in water, soil, air, and everywhere. Okay. And on the basis of their application, they were divided into two, that is useful and harmful microorganisms. So, in useful microorganisms, we have seen the examples like lactobacilli. Yes, their uses. We have seen the process of making curds, yeah, with the help of this lactobacilli. Then we have seen the microorganism, that is rhizobium, which is symbiotic bacteria, and how do they help to the farmers, it has been seen, and what is the role and the importance of rhizobium is there, we have seen in our previous lecture. After that, we have seen one more useful microorganism, that is yeast. Yes, and due to this, how the bread is made, how the cake is done, how the fermentation is taken place, we have seen in this slide. After that, we have studied about the bioremediation, the process in which the all the pollutants can be absorbed or be processed by the microorganisms. This process is called as the bioremediation. After that, we have seen the topic antibiotics. Yeah. What are the antibiotics? Carbon compounds obtained from some bacteria and fungi for destroying or preventing the growth of harmful microorganisms are called as antibiotics. We have seen that there are two different types of antibiotics, that were broad spectrum or a narrow spectrum. Yeah. Then we have seen the useful antibiotic, that is penicillin. Yeah, we have seen the cautions while taking antibiotics, and we have seen that who has introduced this antibiotic, and the scientist who introduced the firstly this antibiotic was Alexander Fleming. Yeah, after that we have seen about the harmful microorganisms. What are harmful microorganisms? Who are responsible for causing many harmful diseases. Yeah, and in this process or in this diseases on who were acting fungi. Yeah, in that the most harmful or microorganism was Clostridium. We have seen. So students, in our last class studied about the harmful bacteria known as Clostridium, who are responsible for causing food poisoning, which means what? Which means the bacteria which spoil cooked food. Out of about 100 different species of this bacterium, some are free living in the soil, whereas some live in the alimentary canal of humans and other animals. So this is a basically rod-shaped bacteria. As you see in the images, it has been seen that, but there are unfavorable conditions where they produced just like as a bottled shaped endospores. Yeah. Now here the unfavorable conditions means what? When there is not proper condition to reproduce or multiplication of bacteria, and when this unfavorable conditions are there, when there is lack of food availability, then they are not able to reproduce or multiply itself. So it is known as the unfavorable conditions. So these bacteria are rod shaped and produce bottle shaped endospores in adverse conditions. So one special characteristic of this bacteria is that they cannot withstand the normal oxygen level of the air because they grow in anaerobic conditions. Means anaerobic conditions means when there is an absence of oxygen. Yeah, students. So this characteristic is only seen by this bacteria by because they can withstand only within the absence of oxygen, not in the aerobic condition. So they cannot withstand with the normal oxygen level of the air because they grow in anaerobic conditions. Yeah. So this is all about the, and see here different examples of this clostridiums are there. Clostridium tetani, Clostridium perfringens, Clostridium botulinum, and Clostridium difficile. These are the commonly bacteria. Yeah. Then now, now this do one question arise in our mind that do only the Clostridium bacteria causes illness? So what is the answer, students? No. You must have noticed that there are many different microorganisms, and there's many organisms which are capable of causing diseases, and some of them may be fungi, some of them will be protozoas. As see this example. They may be, some of them may be fungi, some of them may be protozoas, as we see in the case of malaria. Some of them may be in bacteria. Yes, as example, Stachybotrys, and the one more that is virus. And for this example is coronavirus. Yeah. So now students, let us study about the other harmful microorganisms in detail. You have learned you have learned about the viruses that these are very smaller organisms, smaller even than the bacteria. They cannot survive without the body of the host. Now, what is the meaning body of the host? That is, they required a living host outside the body of the host organism. They behave like non-living thing. Okay, whenever this microorganisms are outside of the body, they behave just like they are non-living things. But as soon as they get the entry into the living host, which may be bird, may be insect, or which may be humans or other organisms, they begin to multiply and they behave like the living organism. So for this, it is very much needed host. Host means a living body where they can live. Yes. So now how do they do all this? For this, lots of research is going on. Yes, the study of this microorganism, because when there is a sudden outbreak of particular kind of disease and the medicines or vaccinations are not available, lot of trouble is caused. Yes or no? When there is not vaccinations and all, what will happen? Trouble will be caused. As we have seen now in the pandemic of coronavirus, entire world was under the lockdown. All the industries were stopped. Everything was stopped, even though the schools are also not open. So it hampers the productivity of the country when there is a outbreak of any kind of such diseases. So for this, lot of researches is going on. Okay, for this, lot of researches is going on. So for this, who has introduced this? And this is introduced by the scientists. Okay, As students, initially it was believed that the meat gets spoiled due to some of the bacteria, but exactly which bacteria is responsible for spoiling of the meat was unknown. Means it was believed that meats get spoiled due to some bacteria of the bacillus type, but the exact type of bacillus was not known. So but it was studied by Van Emergen. He was the scientist who studied about the anaerobic bacteria, and he proved that the variety of Clostridium botulinum is responsible for food poisoning or the rotting of meat. Okay, he was the one who proved that the anaerobic bacterium Clostridium botulinum is responsible for food poisoning or the rotting of the meat. Okay, he was the person who Van Arvanjam. Okay, then now second scientist. Then this is the other scientist whose name is Ida Bengstone. Okay, now who is this? Ida Bengstone obtained a higher education in biochemistry at Chicago University. Okay. And she was studying about the gas gangrene, which affects most of the diabetic people and the antitoxins useful for treating it. Okay. So she conducted important research on the toxins responsible for gas gangrene and the antitoxins useful for treating it. While she was doing research on the dreaded disease like typhus, she herself contracted the infection. But there was a bad conditions that when she was studying or she was doing this research on the dreaded disease called typhus, she herself contracted the infection. But she overcame it and continued her research. For this work, she was honored with the Typhus Medal in 1947. In 1947. So these are the two scientists who were made their role in our life very, very important. Yeah, who were there? Van Emergen and Ida Bengtson. Okay, this is all about the scientists. Okay, now moving further about, now we are going to study about the different microorganisms which causes different diseases, and we will be enlisting few diseases just now. So we will deal with first, that is, name of the disease is AIDS. What it is? AIDS. Now what is the full form of this? It is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. What is the full form of this AIDS? Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, and it is caused by a virus known as HIV virus, and it is caused by the virus which is known as the HIV virus. Okay, now what is the full form of this HIV? It is human immunovirus. What is human immunovirus? Now how it looks? See here, you can see it looks and enters into the living cells and start making the proteins that are essential for its own development. As it enters within the body of the host, it will overtake all the cellular machineries that are essential for synthesis of protein and start developing the proteins which are essential for its own multiplication, and because of which the person which is infected by HIV virus starts getting weaker because his body or her body now generating the proteins by the viruses, and slowly the immunity of a person starts deterring as this virus affects the immune system of the person and person becomes susceptible of the different types of diseases. Even minor flu can cause major problem in the person suffering from the AIDS. So what is the mode of infection? It is spreaded through blood and semen of the infected person and milk of mother suffering from AIDS. Okay. It means what? If a person get cuts on his hand and who is suffering from it and that knife is taken from another person for cutting and in this way this blood mixes with the another person and this spread the infections, this spread the diseases. So for to prevent it, this spreading of these diseases, some preventive measures we have to take, that is safe sexual contact, avoid reuse of needles and injection. Yeah. So there should be in stopping the sharing of injectable drugs. Yeah, a mother who is suffering from the AIDS, she should not feed her child. Okay, in this way, the preventive measures can be taken and the spreading of AIDS can be stopped. Okay, now moving further to the next disease. What is that name of the disease? It is hepatitis. Now, it is a kind of disease caused by virus and it is a viral infection. So, who is the pathogen here? It is virus only, in which it affects the liver of the what? Liver of the living organism. And this is the picture of the structural hepatitis virus. Yes, and as it enters the bloodstream of the host, it starts affecting the liver. So students, whenever this hepatitis virus enters the blood of the stream of the host, what it starts? It starts, first of all, it starts affecting liver. So the capacity, due to this, what will happen? So the capacity of the liver to convert the sugar or to store it is reduced, because of which person starts feeling weak. He feels nausea. He feels vomiting like and the other conditions also. Yes. So this hepatitis virus, whenever it enters in the body, first of all, it starts affecting what? Liver. And due to this, liver capacity to convert the sugar or to store, it is reduced. And due to this, a person starts feeling weaker and weaker. So here, the mode of infection is what? So now how does this spread? And the mode of infection is through contaminated water and food. As it is transmitted to the contaminated water or food, it is very essential to take some preventive measures. So what are the preventive measures should we follow? So it is very essential to have clean and filter water. It is better to have boiled water and proper storage of food is also very needed. Besides this, proper hygienic conditions should be maintained so that the disease does not spread. Okay. So what should we do? We should drink clean water or we can drink boiled water. The food which we are taking, it should be clean and made very hygienically and it should be stored very clean surrounding. Yeah. So by using all these things, all these preventive measures, we can maintain or we can stop spreading this disease, that is hepatitis. And all diseases are too much infectious. So we should be very attentive or we should keep our surrounding and we should be hygienic. Okay. Now moving to the next disease, that is name of the disease is influenza. Here the pathogen is virus. Yes, but this influenza, which is also known as flu, and this is also caused by virus. Now, how this spread? What is the mode of infection? It's a spread through crowded place, sharing the surfaces. Crowded place means what? See, it is written contact with the infected person. But how? How do we come in contact with this infected persons? So this is due to the spread because of the crowded place where the sharing the surfaces. If anyone is having fever, sneezing, coughing, and when they coughing, the droplets fall on the surfaces. There is a sharing of the surfaces, and the virus may enter into the body, and even the poor hygiene in the house or in the areas of work affects the to spread these diseases. So whenever we go in such type of crowded places, we should maintain hygiene. So for this to maintain to in spreading this disease influenza, what are the preventive measures we should follow are, see, first is while sneezing or coughing, one should cover his face or nose. Whatever be used for cleaning of mouth or nose be immediately disposed properly. Yeah, the thing which is used for cleaning of mouth or nose should be immediately disposed properly. Proper rest should be taken and medicine should be taken so that it can be cured as early as possible. So medicines which were recommended by the doctor, it should be taken properly so that it our disease get what? Cured very fast. So that it can be cured as early as possible. So and one more thing, washing the hands before and after eating the food. Yeah, this is also necessary. Social distancing is very much essential for preventive measures of this influenza. So nowadays, as we have followed all those things, what social distancing and all, so this has given us a habit to maintain distance with a person who is infected in any way. So students, it's very needed to be very clean and we should have a hygienic habitat. Okay, this is all about the disease that is influenza. Okay, now moving further to other disease, that is name of the disease is measles and chicken pox. Now what is measles and chicken pox? This is again a viral disease. This is spread due to the virus only. Here, who is the pathogen active? It is virus. So, how can you identify the chicken pox or measles? How can you identify? See, you can see in this picture. You can see in this picture that the small boils on the body, all over the body, it may be all over the body or a certain place, and these boils are water filled. These boils are water filled. Okay, such conditions are called as measles or chicken pox. Okay, whenever you see all this type of boils on our body, it is concluded that you should come on conclusion that we are suffering from the measles or chicken pox. Okay. Now, how does this spread? Now, what is the mode of infection? Contact with the infected person. It is written, see, contacted or contact with the infected person. It is spread through the contact with the infected person. So, in the previous days, the person suffering from measles or chicken pox was isolated. What do you mean by isolated? These people are kept in a particular room because if a person coming in contact with them can be infected by this disease. Okay, so for this, as in this corona pandemic, what we have to do whenever a person is suffering from a corona, he or she is isolated, quarantine. In the same way, when a person is suffering from this measles and chicken pox, we should keep not some distance, we should keep such persons in another room. He or she should be quarantined. So for this, if we have to stop this infection or this disease, we have to take some preventive measures. So proper care of these people can be taken by giving proper medicines, fruits, food habitat should be maintained so the immunity keeps up. Okay, so the food should be given very clean food, it should be boiled, it should be cooked properly. So what are the preventive measures? Cook the food properly, keep it covered, boiled water should be consumed. Vaccinations are also available for this, which are given in the childhood. See, whenever a small child takes a birth, a very big list of this vaccinations means calendar is given by a doctor to us, so that a child should be given a proper vaccination at a proper time. Okay, so for all these diseases, vaccination is also available. So this is the preventive, these are the preventive measures should be taken to stop the spread of the disease, measles and chicken pox. Understand up till here? Yeah. So how many diseases up till here? Up till now we have seen. First is AIDS, then hepatitis, influenza and measles and chicken pox. Now moving further to the next disease, that is, name of the disease is bird flu and swine flu. What it is? Bird flu or swine flu. Now, see, in the name it is given, and this bird flu is caused by the virus H7N9 virus. What is the name? H7N9 virus. And this virus causes bird flu disease. Now, swine flu is caused by the virus H1N1. What is the name of the virus who caused the swine flu? It is H1N1. Okay. So the pathogen of course here is also a virus. Yeah. If you remember, there was an outbreak of swine flu and bird flu recently few years back. So now, how does it spread? We will see. There are two main reservoirs for this disease. First is avian reservoir. First is avian reservoir. The viruses are present within the body of the bird. These viruses or this is a virus, these viruses are present on within the body of the bird or in the human also. Okay. So how it is transferred now? How it can be transferred from the bird to the human? How it is? So see. How it is transferred from the bird to the human body? So it is transferred through food or via air. It is transferred to human body from the bird through food or via air. If you come in contact with the infected animals, if you come in contact with this infected animals, or if you consume uncooked meat of the animal or the bird, the infection might spread from one to another. Okay. So, whenever if you come in contact with the infected animals or if you consume this uncooked meat of the animal or the bird, the infection might spread from the others. So, what is the mode of the infection here? Contact with the infected birds and animals. So now what are the different preventive measures or we should take to so that we can not be infected by these diseases? We should. For this, the first thing is maintenance of a proper hygiene. That is personal hygiene. Vaccines are also available for this. And the food which has to be properly cooked, because through this uncooked food, all the virus can spread. So whenever we are eating meat, It should be cooked properly. And the water which we are consuming, it should be boiled. Okay, it should be boiled for consuming. And one more thing, maintenance of a personal hygiene. So this is all about the disease, that is bird flu and swine flu. Okay. Now, after this, we will see about the disease. Name of the disease is leprosy. What is the name of the disease? It is a leprosy. And see who is active here. Here the pathogen changes. For this disease, who is active? Here bacteria. Which one? It is a bacterial disease. Now, what is the mode of the infection here? It is long-term contact with a infected person. When a person is infected by this bacterial infection, see here a person face how it looks. So it's what it does. What it does, this leprosy, what happens? And what happens in this bacteria acts on a particular part of the body, and what it do? It infects the part and it starts decaying. Yeah, and it is too much painful for a person who is suffering from this leprosy. So here the mode of infection is long term contact with the infected person. Okay, so how can we stop, or how can we stop spreading this leprosy? By taking some preventive measures. What are the preventive measures? Avoiding contact with infected persons and their belongings, and proper treatment from doctors should be taken so that this disease can be cured very fastly. Okay, this is all about the disease, that is leprosy. Okay, now moving further about the name of the disease, that is cholera. Now what is cholera? As students, we have seen in dengue and all. One more, this is I want to discuss with you, that is about the dengue. And this is also virus disease. But in this, virus is not directly entering in the organisms. It is via the factor which the mosquito or the person can caught. Okay. So the dengue, only when the mosquito bites, the person, so remember this, the dengue spreads through mosquito bites, only through mosquito bites, as mosquito is the important agent for transferring this dengue disease, as this is same to, and this disease is same just like as malaria. Okay, so care should be taken as surroundings should be kept clean. There should be no centers kept for the mosquitoes to breed. Like if there is a stagnant water in the vase or a pot, it should be clean. If there is dirt where mosquitoes proliferate, even the surrounding is clean, thus mosquitoes, then we should wear full sleeves shirt so that mosquitoes can't bite. Apply Odomos or mosquito liquid to avoid mosquitoes biting, or can use mosquito nets so that mosquito bite does not take place. So how this malaria and this can be stopped by this, so that mosquito bite does not take place? It is also important, if any person is suffering from any diseases like dengue, malaria, they should be kept within the net. Their bed should be enclosed by the net when they are taking rest, when their proper treatment is completed. By this to be done, if that person is properly quarantined, then till the treatment is completed, and the spread of this disease should be avoided. Control of mosquitoes by BMC by spraying antigens can also be stopped this spreading. Okay, now moving further to the disease, that is cholera. Here, the main pathogen who is active is bacteria. And how does this infection spread? What is the mode of infection? It is just due to the contaminated food and water. So what preventive measures should we take? And why? And one more thing, poor hygienic conditions also spreads all this. Okay, so what are the preventive measures should be taken? We should take clean food and water. So while taking food and water, wash your hands with soap and running water frequently. Food, cook food properly and keep it covered. Yes, as we know, consume water is boiled before drinking and stored properly. In this way, we can take preventive measures to defeat the disease that is cholera. Okay, this is all about the disease that is cholera. Just in a few minutes before, I have explained about the malaria. Yes or no? I have explained about the malaria. Same just as this dengue. But here the main active pathogen is protozoa. Who is protozoa? And how does this spread? Mode of infection is mosquito bite, uncleaned surroundings. Okay, these are the factors which are responsible for the disease malaria. Now, what are the preventive measures should we take? We should be taken. Cleanliness of surrounding is needed, preventing stagnation of water, controlling mosquitoes. While sleeping, we can use mosquito liquids. Then we can use Odomos to our body. We can sleep, we can take rest within the net so that mosquito bite can be prevented. And the surrounding should be clean. Where there is a stagnant water, there it should be spreading of, and we can call BMC staff for spreading the solutions or the medicines. Okay, in this way, this disease malaria can be cured. Okay, now some other diseases like dandruff, ringworm, and scabies. Now see this picture: dandruff, ringworm, and scabies. Now here the active pathogen is fungi. Who is fungi? Now how does this spread? What is the mode of infection? Now mode of infection here is contact with the infected person or his or her belongings like clothes. It is too infectious and this occurs during rainy season mostly or in summer. Yeah, why? Because our body gives out too much sweating. Yeah, so whenever these conditions are there, a person suffer from these diseases like dandruff, ringworm, and scabies. So what are the preventive measures for this? So first thing is personal hygiene. We should be keep our body clean. Our surroundings should also be clean. Avoiding contact with the infected persons, means a person who is infected with these diseases, we should keep some distance and we should be avoiding contacting them. Okay, so these are the conditions or these are the preventive measures which can stop spreading these diseases, that is dandruff, ringworm, and scabies. Okay, now we will take a quick recall on this. The diseases, other diseases which we have discussed today. The name of the diseases is given. In the another column, it is given pathogen. Then mode of infection, preventive measures. Yeah, see it is given. Which are the different diseases we have seen today? AIDS, hepatitis, influenza, measles and chickenpox, bird flu, swine flu, dengue. Yeah, these are all the diseases which were caused by the pathogen, that is virus. Then some more diseases we have seen, that are pneumonia. Now what is pneumonia? Pneumonia, it is a bacterial disease. Yeah, major reason is bacteria, it infected the lungs and thick secretion starts, because of which air sac present in the lungs, they become stiff and the lungs cannot relax and contract, due to which person can suffer from shortness of breath, as well as due to stagnation of muscles, a person starts coughing, and due to this cough, part accumulate in other part of the body, affecting the mentality of a person. So it is spread through the droplets of coughing and sneezing, and the when person do not cover his face while doing this. So for this, preventive measures are vaccination, avoid contact with the infected person, and maintaining personal hygiene. Okay. Then we have seen another disease, that is leprosy, which is also a bacterial infection. Then we have seen cholera, which is also on bacterial conditions, bacterial infection. Then malaria, which is caused due to the protozoas. And lastly, dandruff, ringworm, scabies. This is caused due to the fungus infection. So hereby we have completed our chapter number 8, useful and harmful microorganisms. So now students, I am showing video. It is not audible, you have to just watch it. Okay, I am showing this to you. Just a minute, I am showing. You have to watch this video. It will start just now. Yeah. Of diseases. Okay. Virus, mode of infection, and read it. Okay, students. Then preventive measures, read it. Okay. Next, hepatitis, pathogen. Mode of infection is read. Yeah. What are the preventive measures? You have to read this. Okay. Now next one, influenza. Okay. Virus is there. Recollect these points in your mind. See the preventive measure. Okay. Next disease is measles and chickenpox. Who is the pathogen? Yeah. Read. Yeah. Then preventive measures. Read it. Next disease is bird flu and swine flu. Okay. Now what are the pathogens active here? See? Wow. Read it. Okay. What is the mode of infection? What are the preventive measures? Read it. Now going to next is dengue. What is the pathogen? Yeah. Mode of infection. Read. Preventive measures. Read it. You have to recollect all these points which I explained you. Okay. Now next this is pneumonia. Pathogen is this person. Then take the preventive measures. Read. Next is leprosy. What is the pathogen active? Bacteria. Read the mode of infection. Then read preventive measures for it. Yeah. Moving further to next is cholera. Now what is cholera? Yeah. Mode of infection, eliminated food and water. What are the preventive measures we should take? Okay, students. Next is malaria. Who is the pathogen here? Protozoa. Where is the mode of infection? Mosquito bite, unclean surroundings. So, what are the preventive measures? Read it. Next disease, rough ringworm scabies. Who is this pathogen? Fungi. What is the mode of infection? Read it. What are the preventive measures? Avoiding contact with infected persons. Okay, students? Okay, up till here you understand? What is? What are the other harmful diseases? Have you seen? Yes, students. Now, by this we have completed our chapter. Okay. We have completed our chapter, that is harmful and useful microorganisms. Now, what is your duty? You should read the lesson thoroughly and solve the exercise which is given at the last of the chapter. So, I will thanks to you to listening for listening my lecture very silently and behaving like a good student. Okay, I am ending my lecture. Yes, ma'am, I have completed now.